So today we're going to talk about, depending on when they're listening, something that just happened or something that's about to happen, but it's the phenomenon called the molt.
Who's got chickens? Who's got quail? Who's got hatch rates off the scale? From brooders, coops, and mystery birds. You're listening to Poultry Nerds, talking eggs and talking birds. Science stories, tips you've heard. Welcome to the Poultry Nerds.
But first, I want to hear about your store. How's it going? You've been open a couple months now, right?
So the store's going pretty good. It's steadily getting busier and busier. And I'm also seeing repeat walk ins, which is really nice. I have had a couple people drive a rather long distance to see me and get Show Pro feed or supplement. I had a guy that is a truck driver that lives in Massachusetts that also lives in the Virgin Islands. And, he's here for a couple months driving the truck, and then he goes home for a couple weeks, and then he comes back. And he works for one of the big companies that moves people all over the country. He's the one driving the huge truck full of all your crap. And he was like, "Yeah, I was talking to my brother and I told him, I was like, no, let's don't order it online. I'm going to go to the store." And because, like, I'm here at the counter and, I see this very long 18-wheeler park outside. And he actually wound up buying a lot of stuff.
Nice. You had to hire some office help to keep up.
Shipping has gotten insane. So brought somebody in to help with that, to help decrease the processing time, to get it out the door to where, like, I can't accept any responsibility ever for it. It's the delay is all on XYZ shipping company. We've done a lot with production and gotten some of that stuff fine-tuned over the past year. Thankfully, to the people that buy the products, we're still having growing pains. This past shipping season, like, shipping season for us is from like that March to June is our busy time. So we had last year, and then we're like, okay, so we did this and now we're prepared for this. And yeah, it was a lot worse. We were more prepared. But it's slowly but steadily ramping and getting to where it would be nice.
And you got First Peck online and
Finally
sold
got that
out.
out. Been working on it, fine tuning it for a while. Tried it out. You tried it out. A couple other people tried it out, because I had people that were like, "It ain't gonna do that." I'm like, "Buddy, let me tell you, this is what I've seen, and it does."
It does.
And I
Mm-hmm.
put it on the web for like 2 days, I think, after I sent that email blast out, and it was gone. So I got a lot more of it on order, because I mean, all it is a lot of amino acids and stuff that no chick feed has all of what they need, and it's solid.
Yeah, but you formulated it and you're having it mixed.
Yeah.
Good.
Because my biggest mixer here is 500 pounds. That tells you how quickly that elevated.
Well, and it's a logistics thing. You can only do so much in your
Yeah,
space and with your time and with two
right.
hands.
Yeah. I tried growing a
So
third, but
it didn't work. Well, congratulations on growing so much you don't know what
what
to
to
do.
do? I have been lucky to bring on a couple people that are working out pretty well and training up pretty quick. So it's good things coming.
Good. Good. All right. Over on podcast.com, I have been uploading research papers that have to do with poultry. And so makes
Nah.
I
Poultry
am
Nerds has research paper that has to do with poultry.
Yeah, I know, right? What a concept. But we are breaking them down, summarizing them to make them more easily to understand, quicker to read. But I still have all the links in the summaries, and you can go read the full
Well, I
research
mean,
paper
like
if you want
sometimes
to.
when you're reading about something to do with your birds, you want more information.
Yeah.
Oh, I had another thing happen. So several months back, we talked about a person that I used to work with that had gotten some little chicks
Oh,
for their
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
So I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see her little girl holding their first egg.
Oh.
And I was like, that's cool. Cause I didn't really think that they would keep the chickens this long. Cause a lot of people don't keep them that long. But her kids are loving them. And now that they're getting eggs, they like it even more. They
Mm-hmm.
help her take care of them. And so, I sent her a text and was like, congratulations. But I told her congratulations. That was a really cute picture of her daughter holding the egg and all that good stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I gave her some pointers about how to keep her coop from getting funky. That was pretty cool. I like that.
It's always nice to get feedback. I get
Oh, yeah.
feedback from my emails and stuff, and I love it. I read them all.
She did ask me what the molt was because she's had some people asking her for chickens molted, and she was like, "Are my chickens broke? Because I don't think they've done that."
Well, it's
No,
here. Mine are starting. They kind of
yeah.
started a while ago, but now they're like really starting.
For a lot of people, like one part of the yard will start before the other part of the yard, and things like that. And they're like, "Wow." The molt starts when you have a decrease in daylight. It's one of the biggest natural triggers. Like if one side of your yard starts getting more shade faster than the other side, boom, that's why. My backyard is heavily shaded, and on the side of my barn where I have a lot of birds, it's not really shaded all that much at all. And so my backyard will I'll go back there and I'll see a few feathers and then I'll see what looks like a massacre. They're all over the place. And then shortly after that, when the days actually do start getting shorter, then I'll see it over on the other side of the barn. The
I never
decreasing
really thought about
daylight
it.
triggers that. And that's why a lot of breeders will also, if they're using lights to light their birds for egg production mainly, but it also helps with stimulating the roosters and that side of the production as well. We're a kid friendly show. They cut them off because, they're when they start molting, a couple things are going on. Egg production slows down drastically, may even stop. The nutrients are redirected towards replacing those feathers instead of living their best life. And the birds may become less active because if you've ever had the flu, that's kind of how they feel. They feel
Hmm.
crappy. Their body temperature is higher than normal, which normally it's higher than ours. They're normally 101, 102, 103, and now they may be closer to 105, 106. And coincidentally, it's also that temperature outside. So they're really hot and miserable. Some
And their
molt
skin
quick,
hurts.
some molt slow. Yeah, their skin hurts because their feathers are coming out. And then like more feathers are poking holes and coming out after they pop out. So, I mean, I can't imagine that's comfortable.
No.
Not like the little hairs that we have on our arm. I mean, if you've never looked at the base of a chicken's feather, it's the size of a number two pencil on some of them, of the lead on it. During that time, also is when it's really helpful because of the way they feel. Obviously, nobody eats when they don't feel good, and neither do your chickens most of the time. And it's to help the ones that are not in their standard weight range lose weight to get back to that standard. And that's one of the things when you're managing the molt you really want to do is because if you've noticed some fertility issues or production issues, your hatch rate or fertility rate is half what it should be. And instead of laying 5 to 6 eggs a week, they're laying 1 or 2 eggs a week. Then you need to fill your birds and see if they're plump because there's a really good chance that they're overweight because a lot of people do overfeed them or they give them too many treats. And so this is the time for them to also lose that weight. One of the ways to do that is during the molt, a lot of people will drop the protein. Yes, birds need a certain amount, but they'll drop it because it helps with the weight loss. And I see people talk about, oh, let's use corn to do that. No, corn helps produce more body heat and they don't need the carbs. So
What about
don't.
cat food?
Okay, that's what you feed your cat. Dog food's what you feed your dog. Chicken food's what you need to feed chickens. And I see people put dog food and cat food and chicken feed all the time. And what they don't realize is, yes, they do have some similar amino acids, but the numbers are way off. And too much of a good thing is actually a bad thing. It's not better. And, when you do that, your bird's feces could stink a lot worse. That's because their bodies are having to process that. And it also causes more ammonia, which is a really key indicator that they're wasting that instead of using it. So feed them chicken.
How long does it last?
Well, that depends. It depends on the type of bird, the genetics of the bird, and depends a lot on the chicken tender. That's one thing that we can play a role in. If you manage it right and you raise the fat and fiber amounts 7-8%, and then you lower your protein down to 12%, then you can do that for a couple weeks. Maintain your vitamin and amino acid levels, but lower the other and lower your protein and raise your fat and fiber, which, yeah, they're trying to lose weight and you're raising the fat content, but it works. Trust me.
Fat is energy.
Yeah, that gives them the energy instead of carb loading them with corn and stuff. So they do that. You can do it in 2 weeks. I have not this year, but last year I did a very controlled molt, which I waited until my birds started dropping feathers. And then I changed their ration over to one specifically designed for the molt, which was like what I described a while ago. And yeah, they dropped feathers to the point that my wife one day called and said that I had a lot of dead chickens. But I didn't have a lot of dead chickens. I just had a bunch of them running around naked, which looked funny too. But it all happened pretty quick at once. And then, you would see some of them. It looked like their feather dropped out yesterday, but the pin feathers are already out now. So it worked. And yeah, I mean, mine were like growing new feathers in less than 3 weeks.
You want to also not handle them.
Mm-mm.
One of the
Don't
things
touch.
that I learned early was not to pick them up unless you absolutely have to. And if you
Right.
do it very gently. If
Yeah,
you
we
can,
always encourage you to handle your birds, but during this time, don't. Leave them alone. Make sure they got food, make sure they got water, make sure they're still breathing and moving around. I wouldn't even make sudden moves that might startle them during the molt because they're miserable.
and if you can, go ahead and pull the boys.
Oh,
They're not
yeah,
mounting them and hurting them.
because roosters are like teenagers. Where there's a opportunity, they'll take it. And what I like to do is if I haven't separated already, when I first start seeing feathers drop, I separate because, yeah, that makes it worse.
So it's always funny when you were talking about the light. It's always funny because every year on my Facebook page in June at the summer solstice, I make a post that says, okay, the days are getting shorter. If you're going to light your birds, you need to start lighting them now, at least so it'd be consistent. People, they just laugh at me. They just laugh and they're like, oh, they're laying so good. It's so hot outside. Why would you do that? You're crazy.
Just wait
Well,
another couple days. They
yeah,
stop laying altogether.
because the light is decreasing and they work with their instincts and with nature. They don't
Mhm.
understand the calendar or the clock. And so they know that the days are getting shorter. And so they're going to start preparing for winter. That's what animals do. Like, think bears, they eat
Yeah.
for their hibernation. Chickens do the same thing. Okay, days are getting shorter. I need to start preparing for winter. So I need to grow
Mhm.
my winter coat. I need to finish getting all my nutrition in for the winter when, can't find it. Even though we feed them, their instinct still takes over. They can't
Oh,
reason
yeah.
through that. So just keep in mind that if you want them to lay later, you do have to light them.
Yep.
Now, for my quail, I keep them every day is exactly the same for them. So they don't have that increase in light and decrease in light. My chickens, however, I do not add light to them after the summer solstice. What I do is around Thanksgiving. What I do is around Thanksgiving, somewhere around in that ballpark, because the winter solstice is like right in the middle of December,
Yep.
late December, right?
Yep.
Like the 21st or something. And so what I do is I start increasing their light quicker. So I let them be natural and do their molt and do their thing in the fall, but I bring their spring on faster.
Yeah.
That's what I
That's
do.
that's what I do.
Mm.
I'll start after they molt, after they've recuperated, they got their winter jacket on, and, they're back to being chickens. I'll start stretching the mornings 30 minutes or so each week, another 30 minutes. And then I'm ready to have December chicks.
Mhm. But in my setup, also, I don't have electricity at the brooder pens. And I'm kind of at my highest number of birds right now this time of year.
I think you can handle some more.
No, no, I'm trying to reduce right now. And so in the winter time, I bring all my breeders down to the barn and I have lights down there. And people always ask me about the lights. All I have is it's 100-foot LED rope light, and it goes through the rafters of the condos and then wraps back. So they get two strands of it basically, because
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be like, spotlight bright. And
No,
then
that actually causes stress.
I have them on a I used to buy the $5 timers. Now I'm up to the $10 timers. They just work better with the spiders. The
Well, man,
ones
I
that
don't
have
really know that you can get a $5 one anymore.
Really? I like the ones that have the plastic that covers the timer because it keeps the spiders out. And
Yeah.
I have them come on at I know you and Jeff have told me to lengthen their day like 30 minutes at a time, but I just can't do it. So mine just come on at 5 in the morning. They go off at like 3 in the afternoon. So they get a natural sunset. I know some people like to extend their day in the evening. I am a morning extender. So they get a natural sunset and they have time to get up on the roost and do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want them playing in the yard and then the lights go out
Exactly.
because they're like, where do I go? What do I do?
So let's talk about all these supplements and stuff we're seeing ads for right now for the molt. My personal opinion is that yes, you buy them. Yes, they go through the molt and they look better and they grow their feathers, but they were going to do that anyway.
So if you're feeding quality feed, and there's a lot of people out there that are very outspoken about how supplements are evil. And I'll say this, I would love for people to not need supplements. I would, because that means everybody would have access to good quality feed. But there's two things about good quality feed that meets the chicken's needs that most people can't get it. Number one, the stuff you buy from Tractor Supply or at most any big box store, the nutrition's not high enough to meet what the birds truly need. And the second thing is for the higher quality feeds, most people won't pay for them because you ain't going to find it in a $15 50-pound sack of feed. Sorry. But the supplements should be used correctly. Follow the directions, because somebody went to the effort to do the science behind creating the supplement. They probably have a good idea as to how much of it needs to go in the feed to get it where it should be. Well, that's a legit thing.
No.
Too much of a good thing is not better.
I bet in those research papers that I'm posting, I bet there's one on the molt.
I can guarantee it. I saw it.
All right. Anything else you want to add to that? Because I don't do anything different. I just feed them what you send me and let them
Well,
do their
and that's
thing.
that's the thing. Like in the summertime, there a lot of people will change their feed and they'll do this because of that or whatever. Personally, I feel like it would be ideal if you could feed something good quality year round because the less changes you make, the less stress they get. Think about this. We've all seen Grumpy Old Men, right? The movie,
Mm-hmm.
Grumpier Old Men. So that's chickens. They don't like change. They don't like things to be different. They don't like none of that stuff. They just want it simple and consistent. And when you change it up, I mean, imagine on the movie when they change what they're having for dinner that night because on certain nights of the week they would get the same thing every week. Well, I think on one of the movies, some place was closed and it just screwed them all up. That's how chickens are. Don't change it. Keep it consistent. Take care of them and keep their water clean.
Yeah. Now I do change them from layer to off lock.
If they're not laying, they don't need the extra calcium.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sometimes you just do stuff for so long that you forget why you do it.
Well, I mean, off lock's cheaper than layer most of the time, and it makes sense because they don't need the calcium anyway. Why not? There's a lot of people that feed off lock year round, and they will have oyster shells out to supplement calcium when the birds need more because they do stupid stuff, but when it comes to minerals and such, they're actually really smart. They know when they need and they know where to get it, which is why a lot of times, not when they have mites or during the molt, but if you see birds, people will be like, hey, my birds are doing this. They got feathers missing. What, do you see the feathers on the ground? No, it's like they totally vanished. Chances are the other birds are eating them. So I'll ask them, well, shoot me a picture of your feed tag. And more often than not, the methionine's really low. And the birds know they can get methionine in feathers. So they'll eat them.
Mine don't eat them. Do you know what I have to do with mine? To rake them all up and put them in a compost pile.
Yeah, that's because yours, I know
Eat
what they
good.
eat. They eat good. Yeah.
All right. If you need more information on the molt, check out poultrynerdspodcast.com. We have more information there, links to the science and the blog that goes with this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you next week.
That's it for today's episode of Poultry Nerds. If you want to dig deeper, we've put links below for the products, resources, and research we mentioned in this episode. You'll also find more practical poultry education at poultrynerdspodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Listening to Poultry Nerds, talking eggs and talking birds, science stories, tips you've heard. Welcome to the Poultry Nerds.